Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Champion the Passion, a weekly pro wrestling podcast where we inspire you to champion your passions and celebrate the joy in what you love. I'm your host. My name is Victoria Daisy, and today we are going to be recapping everything that happened last night on Friday Night Smackdown. But before we dive deeper, don't forget to follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Now, let's get into this opening segment because Rey Mysterio was the first person to walk through the curtain, out to the crowd, into the ring for the night. Now, to be honest with you, I didn't know why he was out here. I know he was in his hometown of San Diego, California, but I still was a little unsure. To be honest with you, part of me low-key thought it was a retirement announcement. Now, I know I shouldn't expect that, but it's just what came to mind, okay? So basically, Rey was saying that, it's great to be home with his friends, with his family, but to put the cherry on top, he declared for the Royal Rumble. Now, he was reminiscing on his 2006 run when he won the Royal Rumble and went on to win the championship at WrestleMania. He says competition is heavy this year, and then so he started naming a few of the top stars like Cody Rhodes. He said that he did that 2006 Royal Rumble for a special friend, Eddie Guerrero. And then, before he can continue going on, Kevin Owens comes out. He interrupts. And this is a direct quote from Kevin Owens from last night. He said, "I had to come out here because I heard you were just now talking about how you're going to win the Royal Rumble. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I respect a lot of people, but nobody else I respect as much as you." So I was like, okay. I wasn't sure why Kevin was coming out. None of this was very obvious. So I was like, interesting. And then for him to say that, I was like, okay. But then basically he starts saying that he's the champion. Not really. He's just holding the winged eagle belt that he's had since Saturday night's main event. He stole it from Cody, and that's obviously false. So he said that he is the true and rightful WWE champion. And, buddy, no, you're not. That is not your title. Okay, that belongs back in the archives. She came out for one night, and you stole it. He should get fined for that. I'm shocked Nick Aldis hasn't done anything yet. So Kevin is convinced in delusion that Rey will win the Royal Rumble to face him at Mania. So now he's going on basically saying I'm the rightful champion. I believe you can win this, but you need to be the one to face me at Mania so that I can retain and be solidified as the true champion, which obviously none of that is going to happen. It's all 100% false. So Rey starts bringing truth to Kevin, okay? Then Kevin yelled at Rey saying that Kevin himself, he earned the title and that he is the champion. And then Rey said to Kevin, "You're acting so delusional, just like my son, Dominic." And when he said that, the crowd popped, okay? It was absolutely insane. And then obviously that ticked off Kevin. So a fight broke out. Surprise, surprise. Now, I was really interested as to why they chose to bring Kevin out for this segment. I don't really think he needed to be out. I mean, Rey was just announcing that he was going to be declared for the Royal Rumble. And to be honest with you, I thought that this could have been done backstage. This didn't need to open up SmackDown, first of all. Okay? Nick Aldis, whoever's booking this, literally does not need to open at all. I understand it was his hometown, but if you were going to do this, don't make it the first segment, okay? We do not need to open up SmackDown to Rey Mysterio and Kevin Owens. Now, if you know me, you know I'm not the biggest fan of Rey Mysterio. I think he's kind of annoying and overrated, to be honest. I know, come at me, whatever. But that's probably what plays into my argument if this doesn't need to open the show. But again, it happened, whatever. Then we move right along into a Naomi and Bianca Belair backstage segment. So now this is interesting. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have saw my video from the other day. WWE Shop released 2 brand new Bianca Belair t-shirts. Now these are a completely different vibe than the rest of her merch. It's giving bad girl energy. It's giving baddie. It's giving edgy. if you look at the shirts, they're cute. There's nothing wrong with them. I actually am going to plan to buy the one with her hat backwards because I think it's so cute. But her other merch is completely different. It's very babyface vibes as opposed to this one being very heel energy, if you catch my drift, right? So the old merch is very cutesy, glittery, happy, light, fun, and this is not. So something that we've seen in the past is that WWE likes to hint at heel turns, face turns, things of that nature, or returns in general with putting out new merch. And so I thought this was very interesting when I saw this hit the shop. And this got announced. When did this get announced? Yesterday morning, I believe. So literally a few hours before SmackDown. Now, let's get into this little segment because there's some tea, and especially Jade Cargill got involved with this on Twitter. So basically, they're trying to get information on Jade's attacker. Naomi spoke with Nick Aldis and was basically like, hey, like, did you find any new information? Because we really need to figure this out before Jade comes back. Now, we don't know when Jade is going to come back. I hope she's going to come at the Royal Rumble, but I'll share that theory in a few minutes. Now, back to my t-shirt saga with Bianca. So I have a little theory, and I talked more about it on Instagram, but I'll bring some of that theory here. So basically, my prediction is that Bianca is going to finally turn heel. I know so many people think that it was originally Naomi who took out Jade or somebody from the locker room, but I wholeheartedly believe Bianca is the one who took out Jade. You know, they were tag team champions, and I think she knew inevitably that one day they would lose them, and that one day she'd have to wrestle Jade. Now, my only logical explanation to this could be that she feels intimidated by Jade. Now, somebody in my comment section from that video made a point that Jade does mess up a lot. You know, I don't think Jade is the best technical wrestler. She's a lot of muscle, powerhouse, sassy, but Bianca is the whole package. But again, sometimes you don't see that in yourself like how others do. And she might not realize that she's the bigger threat against Jade instead of the other way around, but Jade has been the one to lose matches for them and to mess things up. And so one of my viewers said in the comment section that, you know, Bianca could use that in one of her future promos, being like, you mess things up for us. Maybe, well, I guess not really, because Jade's not really the tag team champion anymore. It's Naomi, but I'm sure there's a way that they can figure that all out. But I would love to see Jade Cargill return at the Royal Rumble, have Bianca already be in the ring and be like, whoa, why are you here? I took you out. Maybe she's a little angry that she's back. And Jade's like, what the hell are you, like, not happy to see me or something? And then maybe that Friday Night Smackdown, they'll get more intimate. Maybe they'll get more into it. Hopefully they lose the tag titles that Friday. That would be fire. And something that I thought was so interesting is right after that segment aired online, Jade Cargill took to Twitter and said, "You sure?" ? Which I thought was so interesting. So she's basically responding to them being like, you sure you don't know who the attacker is? So I think that Jade Cargill knows it's Bianca, and maybe that's another thing they can add into this storyline. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. So continuing on with the backstage segment, Bianca is making sure Naomi knows that her hair whip incident last week was not intentional. If you remember last week during their tag team match, Bianca accidentally whipped Naomi in the stomach with her hair braid. And, you know, it did at first look accidental, but when I reviewed the footage again, to be quite honest with you, it looked a little intentional. And especially if Bianca is going to end up turning heel and it's revealed that she was the attacker to Jade, then it would make a little sense. I don't know. I think Bianca needs to climb her way back to the top, get out of this tag team, like, picture she needs to leave, but maybe she's already kind of fathomed that and realized, I need to get out of here, so we're just going to try and dig our way out of here. So Naomi asked if Bianca could wrap up her hair in a bun so that she wouldn't hit her, and Bianca looked like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like when you're kind of annoyed by something someone said, but you're just going to try and act like it didn't bother you. That was the face and vibe I was getting from Bianca. So it's just a matter of time before Bianca turns heel. And I'm definitely intrigued to see how this pans out over the next few weeks, especially at the Rumble and the week after. Now we transition to a backstage segment with Nick Aldis. So Ray basically wants a match with Kevin Owens. Obviously, very predictable. Nick Aldis grants that wish. And then Cody Rhodes comes out of like the medical department at SmackDown. So Cody basically apologizes to Ray that he didn't go out to help him. And he said that he couldn't because he was not medically cleared. Now, something that I find very interesting, my dad actually pointed this out to me, is the fact that WWE is not keeping track of their storylines and who's injured, who's not. So let's go down memory lane from the last, week and a half, 2 weeks. So Raw on Netflix, okay, that debut, Cody was sitting front row injured. Okay? Keep in mind, later that week on Friday Night Smackdown, all of a sudden, he's no longer injured and he's wrestling a match with Jimmy Uso versus the Bloodline 2.0. What? Then we fast forward to last night where he's all of a sudden injured again and trying to get cleared. And then we find out later in the night that he finally got cleared. Make that make sense to me. How does he go from injured to cleared to injured again, trying to get cleared, is cleared? And it's not like he got injured again because he was fine after that match last week. So it doesn't even make sense in my head. That's our champion. You cannot forget storylines like that or do it without an explanation. That literally makes zero sense in my head. But you know what? It'll be what it'll be. So we're going to move right along to a tag team match. This was Nia Jax and Candice LeRae versus Bianca Belair and Naomi. Honestly, it was a pretty good match. Per usual, Bianca was the star of the match. What I do love is Nia Jax brings the character and storytelling aspect to the match, which makes it fun. She is a out of this world character. She's larger than life. She tells a story just in her face and her body language. And not only does she utilize that, but she has the funniest things to say, and she's just so perfect and funny. And I feel like ever since she returned at the 2023 Royal Rumble, her character has improved significantly since we last saw her years ago. So I absolutely love that, and they honestly put on a better match than I expected. It wasn't terribly long, but at the end, of course, Bianca Belair and Naomi retained their titles. They won. And then we go into a very, very fun match. Now, if the main event of SmackDown didn't happen, I would honestly say that this would have been my match of the night. But I wasn't a fan of how the ending panned out. Now, we'll get to that in a second. So we have Jimmy Uso versus Carmelo Hayes. Now, this was a very, very fun match. They both have very similar wrestling styles, which I really love. And so getting to see them together was just amazing. So I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, but it was very fun. Now, sadly, in the end, we didn't have a definitive winner because, of course, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga decided to interfere. They beat up Jimmy Uso, and then Mello, it was so funny. Mello goes up to Jacob. It was trying to be like, yeah, like you got him, whatever. And then Jacob attacks Mello. And it was hysterical, okay? Then my King Solo Sikoa comes out and we do a nice little transition into a Bloodline 2.0 segment. So Solo grabs the mic, is ready to start cutting a promo, right? But the crowd is booing so unbelievably loud. Like, they were giving him the Dominic Mysterio treatment, if you know what I mean, when he was still cutting promos, because he doesn't really cut them anymore, probably for that reason. And oh my God, it was hysterical. So basically, Solo got impatient and left. He kind of just literally got up and left the Bloodline. Not officially, but it kind of looked like he bailed on them a little bit. And I don't think that Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga were fans of that. So Jacob got on the mic, and this is an exact quote from what he said. He said, "So this is what it comes to. This is it. I'm tired of the hate, of the envy. Even on my worst day, you still can't touch me. I don't care if you boo me or cheer me." And that was pretty much it. So I felt, though, like we were really getting to the real and authentic version of Jacob Fatu. He doesn't go on the mic that often. All he says is, "I love you, Solo." But we actually got to hear a moment from the heart, which I really liked. He, like I said, he doesn't really talk. So that was great. And then, of course, King LA Knight comes out. He interrupts and attacks Jacob and Tama from behind. And honestly, LA dominated for a few seconds, okay? But then eventually he got outnumbered. The numbers game is always very relevant in WWE. And then Braun Strowman comes out, okay? And this was crazy. So he wipes out the ring, not LA, but he wipes out the ring, and then Braun and Jacob go face to face. Now, every time that somebody needs to be saved, usually Braun Strowman comes out unless there's somebody involved in the storyline that could do that for him. But I was honestly, when he came out, I was like, oh my God, like I wasn't that happy to see him because I already knew like it wasn't going to lead to anything. But then when I realized that he was going face to face with Jacob, I mean, holy crap, that's going to be insane. So it got announced later in the night that we are getting Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman at Saturday night's main event next weekend in San Antonio, Texas. I think that is going to be a banger. 10 out of 10. That's a match I've probably wanted to see for a very long time, and the crowd seemed very interested in it too. So I think that we are definitely in for a treat. And then moving right along into another pretty good match, we had the Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garza. Now, it was a good match, okay? You guys know how much I love the Motor City Machine Guns. They never disappoint. But Los Garza is not the best tag team. I don't know why they're still there. I don't know why they're still not in NXT anymore. I mean, I don't even know, okay? They just take up roster space. But I don't really have that many notes for this match. I mean, it wasn't crazy. It wasn't bad. Just wasn't great. You know, it kind of felt slightly fillered. But I do want to give a shout out to Motor City Machine Guns because I love how they've been booked since they debuted in the WWE. They obviously are like my second favorite tag team. Obviously, DIY's reigning number one forever. But they have been booked pretty much every week and winning every single week. And they won this match as well. So big props to them for keeping up the great work and for booking, for just being absolutely iconic. Okay, and then we move into another backstage segment with Nick Aldis and Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens, but like he was with them separately. So all night, Nick Aldis has been trying to get Cody and Kevin to sign this contract for their match at the Royal Rumble, right? Now, he says that the match now has an addendum, okay? And the thing is, he wasn't telling us what that addendum was. And so Cody was suspicious. Kevin was suspicious. I think we all were suspicious. And neither of them wanted to sign the contract until the other signed it. So they refused to sign the contract and they were like weirded out by it. And to be honest, Nick Aldis was acting a little bit suspicious for a while. And for a minute, I thought we weren't going to find out what this addendum was. Now, we find out later in the show, but we still got a few more things until I can reveal what happened. Now, if you guys watch SmackDown, you already know. But then we move on into a match with Piper Niven and B-Fab. There was a little backstage segment that happened before this where basically B-Fab challenged her to a match. It wasn't anything crazy. To be honest, it was an okay match. Obviously, we knew what was going to happen. Piper squashed the crap out of B-Fab, so nothing new. She won that match, and then Chelsea starts attacking B-Fab, and Michin comes out of nowhere with the save and a kendo stick, and she basically beats the crap out of Piper, which was very interesting to see, and Chelsea. So that was pretty much that match. Again, it kind of felt very filler, wasn't crazy about it. And then we go into the second to last match. We got Rey Mysterio versus Kevin Owens. Obviously, the segment for this leading up was the opener for the show. Honestly, it was a pretty good match. Okay, it was jam-packed with action. It was very intense, but in the end, Kevin Owens won. So basically, Cody is beating the crap out of Rey. So then after the match, Kevin, being the cuckoo he is, decides to keep beating up Rey after the bell has rung, after he had finished his match. And so, of course, Cody makes up for what he didn't do earlier, and he comes out for the save for Rey. And then Kevin and Cody start going at it, and that gets very intense, okay? It looked pretty hard to separate them. They were going crazy, and I really love that they did this because now it builds up a lot of hype for their match at the Royal Rumble, which, again, we still don't know what this addendum is, and now we go into a backstage segment with Nick Aldis. Now, this is crazy what we're about to find out. This low-key felt like a mystery show on Netflix. I was waiting and trying to figure out what was about to happen. So Nick Aldis is fed up with Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes, and he tells Cody that next week at Saturday night's main event, both men will relinquish their respective titles to be suspended above the ring at the Royal Rumble for their ladder match, okay? But at Saturday night's main event, there will also be a contract signing in front of the world. Now, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens were kind of fed up with Nick Aldis. They're all fed up with each other. And so Nick Aldis said, you know what? I don't have the patience for this. So we're going to get somebody to moderate this contract signing and this title relinquishment, if that's even a word. And he said, this was honestly kind of a jump scare. I was kind of shocked they did this, but go off. Obsessed. The contract signing will be moderated by the Heartbreak Kid, King of NXT, Shawn Michaels. Oh my God, that's going to be so much fun. I don't know what the intent was to have Shawn on the show, but you know what? I can't complain. I love the Heartbreak Kid. And then we go into a video package, okay? And I have some choice words for WWE about this video package, okay? I made a video that I'm going to post tomorrow on my Instagram talking a little bit more about it, but they basically gave us a video package introducing the fact that Charlotte Flair is returning. Okay, we have seen her. If you follow her on social media, you would see that she's been training her butt off ever since her injury, especially in the last 6 months probably. She's been training so hardcore to get ready to get back in the ring. And so we're all hype. We're like, yes, Charlotte's going to return at the Rumble. It's going to be this great thing. She might even win it, whatever. And then all of a sudden this video package starts playing. And I'm like, what the heck is happening? Now, this was a very hype vignette, very cool shots, very well filmed, very cinematic. But that's not the point. Okay? The point is that they spoiled her return before her return. And with her being as big of a star as she is, I would have loved to have kept that speculation going on for another 2 weeks leading up till the Rumble, okay? I would have loved that 3, 2, 1 buzzer sound and then her music hit, and we get to experience that surprise return feeling. Because obviously, when it's speculation, you don't know 100% if that person's going to be there. So I don't understand why WWE feels the need to do this. I mean, they don't need clicks. Hello? They don't need the clicks, okay? They've sold over 55,000 plus tickets for this event. They do not need the clicks, okay? The speculation was enough. Why they felt the need to do this, I don't know. Now, is there a purpose that I'm not aware of? Most likely. Is she going to appear on SmackDown before the Royal Rumble? Maybe at this point. I don't know. But I was just like, okay, don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm excited for Charlotte Flair. She's one of the 4 horsemen. Of course, she's somebody I grew up watching. Love her, great, whatever. And obviously this has nothing to do with her personally. This is WWE's issue of why they did this. But I would have much rather a surprise return or something big and exciting, because now I'm just expecting her to come out. And the reaction that the WWE universe is going to feel and give is going to be polar opposite than what it originally was going to be. Now, I don't know if this was the plan all along to just have this video play on SmackDown 2 weeks before the Rumble, or I don't know. I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but let me know if you are watching on YouTube. Let me know in the comment section, Spotify comment box, or message me, comment on one of my videos. Let me know your thoughts and predictions as to why they would do this, because honestly, I don't know. But moving right along into the main event, we had Tiffany Stratton defending her WWE Women's Championship against Bayley. Now, if you remember, Bayley became the #1 contender last week and now had her match with Tiffany Stratton. Now, something that I thought was a little bit tea is that Roxanne Perez was front row. So are we teasing A, Roxanne's call up, and B, are we teasing Roxanne's first feud being with Bayley? If you guys saw NXT this past week, Bayley came out during Roxanne's promo/segment, and if you want to see a recap of all that, my last episode from this podcast is me recapping everything that happened on NXT, and that segment included. But it was honestly a phenomenal match, okay? I did not expect to like it as much as I did. It was incredible. And I thought this was the perfect choice for the main event. It was definitely the best match of the night, and I love to see their two wrestling styles clash. I feel like Bailey is a very technical, traditional wrestler, if that makes sense, and Tiffany is a lot more of a high flyer. I mean, her finisher is the freaking prettiest moonsault ever. So she's very fun, athletic, and with her gymnastics background, she brings a lot of fun flair, and she brings a lot of cool move sets to the ring, which I love. But in the end, of course, Tiffany Stratton retained her title. Now, into my overall thoughts of the show. I thought it was a pretty decent show. Okay, definitely some good moments, great storyline development segments, which I really appreciated. Now, I will say my match of the night was the WWE Women's Championship main event match between Tiffany Stratton and Bailey. It was so fun and entertaining. Definitely a PLE caliber match. This definitely could have happened at the Rumble or Saturday Night's main event or the Elimination Chamber or something of that sort. And then I would say my segment of the night was surprisingly the Bloodline 2.0 and Braun Strowman. Like I mentioned before, later in the night, it got announced that the match was going to be happening between Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman at Saturday night's main event. And I think it is going to be an absolutely phenomenal match. And I think that segment definitely got me super hyped for it. I think that I don't know. Maybe there was better segments in the show last night, but that was definitely my favorite for me because I think that this is a PLE caliber match, and I'm so hyped we're finally getting something big for Braun Strowman, big for Jacob Fatu, and I just think it's going to benefit both of them to new heights. Now, in all in all, I would rate the show a 6.5 out of 10. That's probably the lowest ranking. That's probably the lowest rating I've ever given a show on this podcast so far. But like I said, it was a pretty decent show. Nothing crazy. It wasn't garbage, but it wasn't like great. It was a good show, but it definitely could have been better. Only 2 matches really felt interesting to me, but I did love all of the backstage segments with Nick Aldis, Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens in regards to their match at the Royal Rumble. But to be honest, a lot of the things on that show felt filler, which is definitely not something. It's not a problem or an issue you want to be running into 2 weeks before your first PLE of the year and one of the big 4. But, maybe to them they thought it was a great show. Probably, but whatever. It is what it is. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Champion the Passion. Let me know your thoughts on everything we discussed in this video. Don't forget to follow me at It's Victoria Daisy across all social platforms and follow Champion the Passion across all streaming platforms. Don't forget to champion your passion and celebrate the joy in what you love. I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye!